In cunning ways, the make-believe. Cunning ways, they shame me. Flesh and spirit, you can use wicked hearts and cunning ways. Lord, you count the days. May my spirit be worthy for you.
Some blessings. This is your brother Gabar, and this is IAMFITPodcast. Are you fit to go God's way? coming to you live from the Boogie Down Bronx. This is Jonathan Majors. What's going on? Let's talk about it. Let's go. You know, what's the life expectancy of African Americans? I think it's like in the 60s. I don't know what's the life expectancy of Latinos. I don't know. I may have to ask Google. Let me see if Google. Google, are you there, Google? I gotta turn it on. Okay, never mind. All right, but experiencing and watching what's going on within the Mr. Jonathan Majors and his ex-girlfriend. You know, I know you guys have been following for a while, or been probably hearing it for like a few months now, I think. I didn't do a show about it because I was expecting for him to be acquitted. Maybe he would do like some apology or some tour and, you know, move on. Similar to Johnny Depp. You guys remember that whole case with Johnny Depp that his girlfriend, Amber Heard, I think her name is, accused him of abusing her, physical abuse, emotional abuse, you know, all kinds of abuse. You know, these names, these titles with the, you know, it's like, you know, physical, mental, psychological, biological. I mean, all kinds of different abuse that you know, they're coming up with these days. So, you know, it's one of these things that I thought this will go away. You know, we all saw the videos that was probably leaked out, maybe by his legal team, his girlfriend chasing him out the car. We're going to probably show you this and so forth. So on. Shalom, Brother Zedekiah, I see you there. Brother Z, shalom, 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 all praises. Just make sure we're coming in clear. Just give me a thumbs up. Make sure we're coming in clear. I think we are. Let me just do a quick sound check on my end and so forth. So on. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so I didn't make a big deal out of it. I was looking to kind of do a show after the verdict. After it will be a scenario that he will be acquitted, because I didn't see there was strong enough evidence to convict the brother. Okay, but when he got convicted, I think it was eventually 4 charges, but he only got convicted of 2. I think the first one was, I believe, let me get it here. I know okay. So you have harassment of the 2nd degree, and he got charged assault of the 3rd degree, which is the lowest tier of assault charges. It occurs when someone inflicts physical injury or bodily impairment or sustainable pain into another person. The injuries can be intentionally inflicted. Salakia, excuse me. But it comes also as a result for the recklessness or criminal negligence. All right, so it's like you didn't mean to, but you was reckless. 2nd degree of harassment is when someone is taunting, striking, shoving, kicking, or otherwise. It's more like taunting or harassing. And this is actually the most dangerous one. I want to you know, go into that in a minute. But so the people that haven't been following, you've been under a rock or so for the last few years. Let me unpack this for you guys real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna play some videos, right? I'm gonna set the stage. You know, it came out. He was found guilty of 2 of the 4 charges. It was of the lesser charges of the 4. So you got the first one was more like assault. I think the first degree. I'm not sure. I don't know what was the other one. So they kind of split it in the middle, and they kind of gave him the lesser of the 2, of the 4, the lesser of the 4 charges. However, though, Disney dropped him. His life is pretty much tainted now forever. And who's to blame, right? It's the media. Is it his girlfriend? Is the police department? Well, we're gonna unpack this, right? Fair use. This is breaking news. Jonathan Majors found guilty. Fair use. Now, I want you to pay attention to what this brother is saying, because you could clearly see that he is bewildered, and he's trying to not get too political or too transparent on his disappointment on the verdict. But just pay attention. And let me show the video later on in its full length. And this is the thing that I want people to understand. Once we're in a situation that we're in a heated scenario, when we are a man arguing with his wife or arguing with his girlfriend or whatever, if you are speaking a certain kind of way, and I'm going to show you what convicted Mr. Jonathan Majors of the harassment, right? Because I'm more concerned on the harassment of the second degree versus the assault on the third, right? Because assault in the third is more like, a criminal negligence, reckless behavior, and you didn't mean to, but your recklessness caused somebody to get hurt, right? But the harassment is what I want to address today, right? Fair use.
Have to prove, right? And so here they are. She has seen the spark that triggered this fight, where she saw what she thought was a message from
notice what they did here, right? Notice what they did here. This is the same hand showed twice, showed 3 times. This is just the floor, like I guess her stuff in the floor. I don't know what they showed that. And this is her ear. The same 3 pictures are the same pictures in different angles. And I think it looks like there's something over here, like a scratch on her neck or something, and things of that nature, right? Now, for those that have not been following, right, Jonathan Davis called the police because let me back up. The actual video that you saw him running out the car that's when they got into an argument and some argument, and also that's when the police said he hit her, or he struck her, or he recklessly, through his recklessness, caused bodily harm, right? And I think the reason why they were arguing is that they were in the car. She was leaning on his shoulder, and there was a female who sent him a text that said, "I wish I was kissing you right now," right? And then she snatched the phone off his hand. Who the heck is that? And I guess he was trying to get his phone back, and that's what's the whole conflict. And then that's when, and then the whole thing about the girlfriend or the other girl saying, "I want to kiss you right now," that hasn't been confirmed. I'm trying to find some confirmation. However, though, that's what has been alleged. According to the testimony of the cab driver, or the Uber driver, or the limo driver, or I think it was a SUV kind of scenario, he stated that when he looked back, he heard commotion, and then when he looked back, Jonathan Davis was trying to get out the car, and then put her back in the car, and he ran. For the most part, basically what we saw. But he didn't see it, him hitting her, but he did say that it looked like she was trying to hit him after he got the phone back or something of that nature. You know, it's probably public testimony. It will probably eventually come out. Now, I want to set the stage, right? Because let me just play a little bit of this, and I'm going to move on because I want to play other videos because I want to address the harassment part, which is very important. Hear what he says. So it looks like there is like, see, this is the whole thing about females in regards, not all, but, you know, for the most part. And he said, this is what I'm trying to explain to my wife, you know, at home. And I could try to get, so I guess his wife is probably on, or believe that he did abuse her or what have you, right? And I don't know what happened. I was not there. He went to trial and he lost. Well, you know, at least lost one, was acquitted of the more serious ones, but then still was charged of the most less serious ones, right? However, though, this idea when a woman finds that she is being cheated on by a man, he has another woman to side, what have you, all bets are off. It's almost like society has collectively agreed that whatever she does after that is somewhat understandable because she just, you know, find out you betrayed her, right? This is the reason why I deliberately, when I began to separate myself from GOCC, I started talking about polygamy. Because I know that was a major thing in GOCC that you know, they didn't allow. And I wanted to distance myself. That was number one. The number two reasons why I also promote polygamy in Men Going God's Way is to separate the men from the boys. Let me explain. You don't have to engage in the polygamous lifestyle because I'm not engaged in that lifestyle. However, though, doctrinally speaking, I don't have a problem with it. Socially speaking, I don't have a problem with it. In every sense, in every ism, I don't have a problem with it. I believe God established order in the universe, and he established the order that if a man needs more than one helpmate in his household, he's okay with it. He never condemned it. He never demonized it. Christ never condemned it in the New Testament. None of the apostle never did. So forth, so on. And some people confuse some of Paul's writings, but Paul never addressed it as a sin. Okay, as a matter of fact, when he established the decree in the church that a man who wants to be a bishop, he must be the husband of one wife, that's kind of like conforming that the polygamy was a thing right back then. Now, so you notice that the brother here, there is some division within his family or his wife, believing that he's trying to explain that he should not be charged with this crime. And I do agree with this brother because it's like this, right? Reckless is when you're doing something reckless. There's no reason why you chasing, you doing this, you doing that, you know, and so forth, so on, and you're just acting overly reckless. A man wanting to get his property back, and in the process, the person who is refusing to give that man his phone back or his property back gets hurt in the process. I don't think that should be considered reckless. Now, if the guy, after he got his phone back, he punched her, he kicked her, he threw out the car, he elbowed her, then that's something different, right? And that's intentionally, right? And so forth, so on. So, but I don't think the problem is the legal system, right? Well, there's a problem in the legal system sometimes, but I think we need to address who's to blame. Who's to blame here? right? And we're going to address that. Fair use.
What I didn't like about this defense is they didn't focus on what is called Penal Law 3525. It's the ability to use force to stop a larceny or theft or criminal mischief, the damage of your property. And I always go back to this analogy that I've said multiple times in ABC. And I'll use Kira, use an example, property.
And this is profound, guys. Pay attention. Just because a woman is your wife doesn't mean legally you have authority to get her phone by force. Give me that phone. You can't not get out the house, blocking her from getting the house. I don't want you to go out tonight. Stay home. That could be considered as, kidnapping or entrapment or some form of abuse just by you standing your ground. So I want to address this tonight because the harassment of the second degree or the third degree, whatever it is, that's why I want to. Where did it get this? Where this came from, the harassment? Because you could clearly see that from that event, that particular car scenario, right? The argument started then, and then once he got his phone, he was running away from her, right? So where did the harassment came from? We're going to go into that.
And Jonathan Majors using force. Now, the question is it appropriate force to take back his property? But that seemed to be an argument that was missed completely in this trial. I'm not sure quite why. For the most part, they really focused on, can you believe that these injuries were Coretta Scott?
Now, where did he get that from? Because Jonathan Majors, that statement, I'm a great man and I'm looking for a great woman, was actually a recording that she recorded in 2022, a year ago. So this makes me think and wonder, wait a minute. Was she plotting against him? Was she already, and guess what, folks? As a matter of fact, let me play this video real quick. Let me go here. Let me play this video. This is the one. Okay, so matter of fact, let me play the video that the media is spinning, and this is the recording, and I think they also combined some text or what have you. I don't know, but I think this was a recording that they charge him with harassment of the second degree, if I'm not mistaken, right? And I want you to listen to I want to first play the media spin to this, and I'm going to have you hear the entire recording that was leaked by her, that she secret recording 2 years ago. That now the prosecution was able to utilize it and charge him with assault of the second degree or the third degree, whatever that was, right? Fair use.
Good morning, Jonathan.
It's a bizarre rant as actor Jonathan Majors berates his ex-girlfriend Grace Jabari. Majors is upset that she'd gone out partying.
Do you really go, baby? Do you really?
Yes.
Then how dare you come home drunk and disturb the peace of our house when we have a plan?
He then tells Jabari that she needs to emulate two iconic women.
Coretta Scott King. You know who that is? That's Martin Luther King's wife. Michelle Obama. Barack Obama's wife.
I know, I'm not. I shouldn't have gone out. I'm
No,
sorry.
let me just...
The ex-girlfriend secretly recorded the argument in 2022.
You hear that? The ex-girlfriend recorded the argument in 2022. She was plotting. And see, don't fall for the tears, my brothers. That night, when she came home drunk, what he should have done before she got home, go to Home Depot, get some boxes, pack her clothes, click, right? Check, get a hotel, put all the clothes in the hotel room, Leave her for 2-3 nights and say, hey baby, it's over. It's not working out. You need to go. Your stuff is in a hotel. You can stay there for a few nights until you figure out where you're gonna go, right? So this is showing you that she had a plot. She was, plotting to set him up, plotting to have what is that thing? To have things in her pocket just in case she use it in the future. And I wanna, I think the video was the audio is about 2 minutes long. So where are we right now? What I'm trying to say here? Who for is it? Is Jonathan Davis. And I want you guys to hear the recording, because that recording is the root of the problem. And we're gonna go into that. Fair use.
I'm a great man. A great man. I am doing great things, not just for me, but for my culture and for the world. That is actually the position I'm in.
The defense rested its case without calling Jonathan Majors to the stand.
Hey, brother, that statement, this video, that audio, convicted him of harassment of the second degree.
But the actor was seen wiping away tears as his attorney made closing arguments to the jury in which she accused the ex-girlfriend of telling little white lies and also big lies. Anything to say about the video evidence, Jonathan? As the jury deliberates, they will consider this jaw-dropping surveillance tape where it appears Jabari is pursuing Majors after...
No, it doesn't appear. It's exactly what it is.
Physical back and forth in the SUV over a text he received from another woman named Cleopatra. And then the big moment where Majors is accused of pushing her back into the SUV. The next day is when Jabari is found on the floor of the walk-in closet. Majors called cops when he couldn't get inside.
I banged on the door. I've been at the apartment for about 40 minutes.
And all these recordings are live. Now, I want to play the video. I want to play the audio. And it's about 2 minutes and 14 seconds long. Pay attention.
What are you doing right now? Period.
Now, let me give you the backdrop. She came in, gets drunk from a night hanging out with her friends, and he's upset about it.
Period. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Do you really though, baby? Do you really?
Yes.
Then how dare you come home drunk and disturb the peace of our house when we have a plan?
So, brothers, if your wife or girlfriend comes home drunk at night and you upset about it, you could be charged by harassment. So you see where I'm getting at, guys. Do not engage with Western women. Do not engage. I have done plethora of shows, and I had said it is dangerous for a man to date a woman in America. It's literally dangerous. I will not take the risk. And if you're going to date a woman in America, if you're going to do it, I also did a point, I think a 7-bullet point show on the non-negotiables, right? Because, see, the problem with this brother didn't understand is that he was trying to take, I think she's a makeup artist in Hollywood. I think they met in one of his movies, movies that he did, and they met there and so forth, so on. And he's trying to correct a Valley party girl and make her into a housewife. That's the mistake number one that he did. And if she went out the night that they broke up, came back, she was found, or she was laying half naked. Her bottom was missing, and she was laying down in the closet. He could not open the door, so he went, because what happened is when they broke up, and he left the car and he was running away from her. I want to show you that it became a situation that he booked a hotel across town to blow some steam, and then he went back to his condo the next day where they both live, right? So she when you look on her, or you look at her when she get worked up, you could tell she came from a hangover. She was doing the same thing. She's a party girl. So Jonathan Davis, and this is what I'm trying to figure out with these men. Kanye West with Kim Kardashian, Jonathan Majors. You cannot tame a wild stallion. If a woman wants to go out, brothers, let her go out. All you got to do, let her go out, and when she comes back home, you won't be there. Because trying to stop her, you could be charged with assault. Try to put your body in front of the door. You're not going anywhere. That could be considering, harassment or some form of kidnapping or some form of assault. Let her go. It is dangerous for you to establish your order in the household if a woman does not agree with your lifestyle. If Kanye West was this so-called Christian and believing in God, why would he get and marry a woman, right, who throughout her entire career never professed God and got famous for a sex tape? I think a lot of these guys, the problem with Jonathan Davis and guys like Kanye and other guys, their ego do not allow them to accept the fact that they cannot tame a woman who doesn't want to be tamed. Fair use.
I would like to get to the point where your friends know what job I'm on and go, I think Grace is going to be out of commission. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I won't.
No, you understand that? Because that team, that unit, right? Grace has to be in a certain mindset to support Coretta Scott King. You know who that is? That's Martin Luther King's wife. Michelle Obama, Barack Obama's wife.
I know, I'm not. I shouldn't have gone out. I'm
No,
sorry.
let me just lay it out for you, right? If I'm just gonna say this: my temper, my shit, my trauma, blah, all that said, right? And I'm gonna say I'm a great man, a great man. I am doing great things, not just for me, but for my culture and for the world. That is actually the position I'm in. That's real. I'm not being a dick about it. I didn't ask for it. I've worked, and that's the situation. The woman that supports me, that I support, that needs to be a great woman and make sacrifices the way that man is making for her and for them ultimately. Last night, 2 nights ago, you did not do that. You did not do that.
I'm sorry.
Which took away from the
So he was upset because, from his point of view, he is a movie star. He's famous. From his words, I'm a great man and I need a great woman. And he gave her examples of women that supported their man. And she was recording this conversation, crying, saying, I'm sorry. That's why you have to be careful, brothers. People talk through their actions, not their words. Watch what they do. You know how many times I've been in a situation where I've been in dates with women, and in the beginning, I never tell too much information in what I'm looking for in a woman. Because if a woman is interested in you and she wants to be with you, and she said, okay, I'm conservative, this guy doesn't like, this, she doesn't like that, she's going to kind of pretend a little bit in the infatuation stage, that part, she's going to dress down, she's going to look more respectful and so forth and so on. If you don't have an opinion one way or the other, right, and you don't tell her too much, and you just let her be, you could actually examine the real essence of that person, because you're creating the environment of her being comfortable enough to act normal or herself in front of you. That makes sense? So sometimes, brothers, you don't have to give the non-negotiables, right? Sometimes if you just want to, at least in the first date, second date, see what she wears. See what she doesn't wear. See how she, does she curse a lot? Don't curse a lot. Don't judge it or don't even say anything. Because what brothers need to understand, you cannot change a woman. That's a myth. A woman cannot change a man. That's a myth. People change when they're ready to change. When they realize, okay, the way I've been doing this is wrong, I need to change. People know when they're doing wrong things. She knew that her getting drunk and her being attached to him will compromise could compromise, right? His movie stardom, right? But she didn't care. She did it anyway. And the reason why she was full of crap is because she recorded it. She was talking about, I'm sorry, she was crying, but that was part of the stage. That was part of her angle, so that in the future, when she needs to pull out her tricks up her bag, she could say, well, he was abusive. Look at me, I was crying. Look at me. Right? And I bet you that when she was talking to her Valley girls, party girls, oh, Jonathan, he was upset at me because I went out. My God, he's so abusive. He's so controlling. He's so this, he's so that. Yeah, but I love him. And see, and women could always play the victim. They could always go back and say, well, he manipulated me because I loved them. And it was a scenario that, let me take this up. Okay. It was a scenario that he was psychologically manipulating me. Because this is how he got charged. These recording was part of the evidence, Exhibit A, Your Honor, of harassment under third degree or second degree, whatever that would be. So now, you arguing with your wife or your girlfriend, you expressing your disappointment in her. Right? Because I could see his point. She's going out there with her friends, getting drunk. That puts her in a compromising position because guess what, my brothers? Who do you think she will call if she is in a dangerous situation? Him. That's why I always will establish from the beginning, listen, if you want me to protect you, I need to have some say in how you dress and where you go, because if things hit the fan, I'm the guy that's going to be taking the bullet for you. I'm the guy that's going to be rushing in a group of guys to protect you, right? So therefore, there has to be some agreement that if I don't feel comfortable, if I feel that's too risky, I don't want you to wear that. I don't want you to go there. No, I don't want you to go to Bahamas by yourself with your three single friends. So we need to have these conversations, right? Or if you say that, I don't want you to go out with your friends to the Bahamas, you could be charged with harassment of third degree or the second degree, whatever it is. What I would do, actually, what I did, let me give you guys a story. When my wife and I was broken up, I think we broke up twice, one for 3 years and one for 4 years, I believe, or 3 and 4, or 3 and 3, I forget. But my second breakup that we had, I think I was like 30 to 31, around that age range. I got back with my wife at 35 or 34. But during that time, I was dating a girl, and beautiful girl, yada, yada, yada. But a pain in the butt. And, I was in the most vulnerable stage in my life at that time because I was like, I wanted to settle down. I wanted to figure out which the girl I want to be with, yada, yada, yada. And then, like I was saying, I always met the right woman at the wrong time. I met my wife early when I was all over the place. And I was just searching for better, younger, prettier, better. What's the best I could get? And this is the reason why monogamy doesn't work. Because monogamy forces you. It's like, if I can only have one, I'm going to try to get the youngest, the prettiest, right? Whatever you're attracted to, you're going to try to go and get the best. You start looking at everything wrong on a female because you can only have one at the end. Monogamy doesn't work. It's unhealthy for the human brain. It creates you to be a harlot maker. It creates you to be sleeping around because you want to get the right one. You're looking for the perfection, the right one. There is no right one. There is no soulmate. That's a myth. That's not biblical. That's nowhere in the Bible that says you have a soulmate. Chance and favorites, oh man, it's just where you at, the town you live in, the country you live in, the economic structure you live in, how many women are in your area, depending. I mean, look at in Canada. I mean, there's more men than women in Canada, and especially in the far north, because it's like, war, that's jungle, bears and guys usually are comfortable in that world, but women are not really comfortable in that world, right? That's why if you want to find a good wife, I would say go out the country, travel. If you want to choose in America, I will get away from the big cities, the New York, the Florida, the California, the big cities. I will go somewhere in the Midwest, smaller towns and so forth, so on, and travel. And travel in South America, travel to Africa, to the Far East. That will open your chances in finding a decent woman, right? Fair use.
And the plan is everything. If it was just you in the house drunk, maybe I could have swallowed it. Or I would have felt bold enough like, oh, babe, let's just go to bed. Which I said, I'm just going to go to bed. I'm not hungry, blah, 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 blah. Because Grace isn't here. Why? She was drunk. Why else? She was clogged by whatever was going on. You know what I mean? Fine. I can take that. Fine.
So there it is. There it is, right? So what are we trying to say here? What are we trying to accomplish here? What are we trying to tell the people? Because, listen, this man's life is ruined now. For what? For what? Think about it. He called the police because he saw her pass out, didn't really want to know what's going on. He already broke up with her, right? Like what I would have done, right? I would probably have gone to my condo and locked the doors or whatever and start packing her clothes, whatever. Know me, I'm a crazy person. But, he realized, okay, I have to bring the authorities because, this could be misconstrued somewhere, in a different situation, right? And he ended up being arrested. That's right, brothers. You cannot engage. Even if you're in a situation that your wife or your girlfriend is physically hitting you, or you're in a situation, hold her down, whatever, don't hit. You're going to lose. Even if you grab her wrist and there's mark on her wrist. Sometimes, I'm chilling with my wife and, I say, babe, what is that bruise in your leg? Oh, yeah, I hit my leg. And she bruised very easily. Light-skinned people bruise very easily. And my wife is darker complected than this European sister, right? If I could imagine even playing around and wrestling, she probably get bruised very easily. Don't engage, brothers. Don't engage. So to go back to the sister that I was dating before my wife, it's like we started great, and then it became argument after argument after argument. And you know what I realized? I'm done. And when I'm the type of guy, when I'm done, I stop plotting. I started looking at my exit strategy. So one week she was like, hey, she had a best friend that was in the military. She was in town, and she was visiting her. I think she was in Connecticut, Jersey, I forget. or DC, I forget. And she was like, hey, you want to come? Like, no, I'm tired. You know, you go and have fun. Back on my clothes, on my stuff, was out. Because let me tell you something, brothers. We have no authority or power over women. The only authority or power that you have is to disengage. And let me explain to you, brothers, the power of disengaging. See, I was the master of ghosting before ghosting was a thing. If I start seeing, what's going on, this chick is crazy, or, this going on, like, okay. Like, what happened to Carlos? Where's Escobar? See, I just break out. I don't get caught up, making a big thing. I always tell any woman, if you get me angry enough that I'm even thinking of like violent thoughts to punch something or to push, this is not the place for me. I always value my sanity and my peace where I live. That was always, or the woman that is in my inner circle, right? And, when I was young, and that's why this whole monogamy thing doesn't work, you play around with a lot of women because very early on, you get told you can only have one, so then you hold back monogamy as far, you push monogamy as further in the future, in my 30s, mid-30s, maybe 40s, right? And the desire of having another woman doesn't go away. It just gets more tolerable. You just, you could deal with it better, right? Now, why is this important? Why is this, a thing that we need to address, we need to have a conversation about? Because it's like this. We are behind enemy lines, my brothers. And especially African-American men, we all know, we accept it from the tribe of Judah, so forth, so on, right? Black and Latino aggression, our passion is something that people get very afraid and concerned about. We're very, charismatic people and electric, we all over the place when we are passionate about something. We're loud people and so forth, so on, especially if you come from a loud family or a big family and so forth, so on. I had, 4 brothers and sisters. It was 6 of us, and I was the middle child. You have to speak up to be heard. We speak with our hands, and, we're very passionate people, and we express ourselves in a very passionate way, and that becomes people demonize that. People are concerned about that. So if you constantly arguing with your wife, brother, she's gonna, and if you break up or you get divorced, she's gonna use those arguments against you. I just wanted to go out with my friends. I haven't seen her for years. She was, coming back from college or coming back from this or coming back from that and so forth, so on. But we all know that is not really the problem. We all understand that it's not you seeing your friend, right? It's where you're going to see your friend. Well, we're going to a nightclub. Okay, what you wearing? Well, a little short skirts with some pum-pum shorts or some this. That's usually the problem. But women highlight all the time, he doesn't want me to see my friend. But they don't volunteer those extra information, what they were wearing, right? Who was their friend, the background, were they single? How is it you a married woman going out with single women into a nightclub? I could understand when you have married women, or even you want to see your friend and catch up with them. You go out for what? For brunch, right? You go out for lunch. You go out a lounge and you just, chill and talk and catch up. What catching up are you doing in a nightclub where the music is so loud you can't hear each other think? But when she's repeating it, and even in the conversation, right? Notice she was like, you know what? I'm sorry, I will not go out. That is not the reason why he was upset. The reason why he was upset is because she got drunk and she came home drunk. One of the most vulnerable creatures in the world is a drunk woman by herself. And he was trying to explain to her that by her doing that is compromising his career. And he needed a great woman, and he gave an example of what he feels is a great woman. And what he was trying to say that his woman needs to sacrifice the same way he's sacrificing. That seems very reasonable to me. It wasn't the fact that she was out, but you notice she was focusing on, okay, I would not go out anymore, and crying, setting the stage for what? Victimization. He didn't want me to go out. No, he didn't want you to get drunk while you by yourself in a vulnerable situation. And what the media does, listen to this bizarre rant that Jonathan Majors did. And his passion, he was trying to explain to her, you never hear drama with Michelle Obama. You don't even see Michelle Obama in nightclubs hanging out and getting drunk. You never seen Sharetta King, Martin Luther King's wife, getting caught up with some scandal because they understood they're a reflection of their husbands. And that was the point he was trying to make. But the media is going to highlight, right, the most sensational portion of that conversation. Do not engage. The greatest power you could have, brothers, is to disappear. Disappear. Don't engage. It's okay. Yeah. And take all, listen, it's my fault. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think we should end this, this relationship because, I cannot give you what you want. I'm sorry. And the way you have to verbalize it, right, is, listen, I don't want to change you as a person. If you like to go out and wear poo-poo shorts, I don't want to suppress you in any way. It's just not for me. Brothers, the only power you could ever have, and trust me, in my 51 years of experience, it has always worked as a charm. Walk away. Don't argue. Don't get back and forth. I don't get caught up with that. I value my sanity too much. I value my peace too much. If I'm constantly arguing with my woman who's supposed to be my helpmate. And this is the reason why it's very important. That's the reason why I established the polygamy concept in Men Going God's Way, because I know that the weakest link is going to come by the wives of the men of men going God's way. So if I'm in a situation that we are coming together as brothers, shout out to the brothers from in the Discord, all the brothers from Men Going God's Way. Shout out, shalom, 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 shalom. Peace and blessings. I know that this is the whole thing, right? I know that we're going to be having a solid scenario within our organization that we're going to be proving men to be qualified within our organization. That does not exist with the brother's wife, right? So therefore, we have to be very careful. This is the reason why we are. I'm prepping. I'm educating. I'm getting men mentally ready for when it's to come. Because when the collapse come, I mean, there's a lot of there's a movie that I want to play. I want to play this this video here, right? And this is a video of a trailer of a movie, right? That, what is it? Okay, hold on. Let me get it here real quick. Bear with me. History, okay. What's the name of this new movie that came out? Not the, I know people are talking about, what's that movie? Leave Everything Behind. Good movie, interesting movie, but you are realizing that, let me see if I could find this movie. What's the name? Did I save this movie? Because I was like, maybe I could play this trailer here. I think Civil War, I think it's called. Civil War. Let me get it real here. Civil War. Movie. There we go. Okay, here we go. Civil War film trailer review. Okay, well, let me just get the actual trailer without the review. Let me get this. I want to show you guys something. Because they're preparing us mentally, right? They're preparing us mentally, right? Let's play this trailer. This is the reason why we need to start removing any weak link from our initial space. Remember what Christ said, that your enemies, the people that will be against you, the greatest woe, your greatest few, the greatest threat will be those of your very own household, right? So let's play this trailer. Fair use.
19 states have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
Are you guys aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America?
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
It's coming.
Citizens of America, the so-called Western forces of Texas and California,
they're preparing us.
A very great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. President, do you regret the use of airstrikes against American citizens?
We're moving to
Babylon is falling.
You need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. Every instinct in me says this is death. Bloody.
Every time I survived the war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay?
Pay attention.
Okay. What kind of American are you? You don't know?
The Western
Pay
forces will reach
attention.
the White House on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Get in the car! Get in the car!
Move, move, move!
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go, 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 go!
God bless America.
And there it is. If you're a God believer, if you're a Christian, you are waiting for the kingdom to come. For the kingdom of Christ to come, all kingdom must fall, including America. So what is this thing called talking about God bless America? Huh? What is this thing that we expecting to be living in this existence forever? If you're a Christian, I'm speaking to Christian. I'm a Christian. Which is a Christian church. show. Excuse me. Men going God's way, right? Are you fit to go God's way, right? So, why are we not preparing? And the first thing you have to prepare, man, is to remove any adversary from your inner circle. And a lot of these adversaries the men are dealing with are the very wise. The very wise. And we have to be in the mindset in the same way as Nehemiah and Ezra, in the book of Nehemiah and Ezra, when Nehemiah said, listen, leave these wives and these children, these strange wives, these pagan wives, and their children behind and build the temple. I get emails sometimes and sometimes by women. Since my husband began to watch your show, he's changing. You're ruining my family. What are you doing? You're evil, man. And every time I get those emails, I'm saying, my plan is working. Yes, I do want to separate. I do want to divide. I do want to make sure that men that are in toxic relationship separate themselves from those relationships, even if you have kids. I hate to separate family with kids, but even if you have a situation, you have young kids, my recommendation and what I would do is start planning after your kids are old enough to make a decision. Because there's going to be a lot of fathers that's going to tell their kids, or will have to tell their kids, choose me or your mother. Which is going to be? You're going to be under my control or your mother's control. And there's going to be a lot of kids that's going to choose their mom. Because, you know, who doesn't love their mom? So what I'm trying to do with this show is to sound the trumpet for the brothers that are not yet in that situation. Or brothers, like for instance, I got another conversation. I want to leave these names, private because it's a private conversation of a sister, brother that was with a sister. I'm not going to mention what church he was with or what organization because that's, I want to keep that private. But what did he call me and say, Gabar, my wife doesn't respect me. I said, okay, give me the rundown. What happened? Well, and it was a unique scenario because like he was telling me, Gabar, my wife does the cooking and the cleaning in that department. I don't have no complaint, but it's her attitude. It's her attitude, and this is what people need to understand. This is what people need to understand, right? Is that specifically women, right? You sometimes are killing a man slowly. You are breaking down a man psychologically constantly by constantly being sarcastic, argumentative, uncooperative, always asking questions, why we got to do this and why we can't do it that way. It's ever easy when you're trying to move forward. All your decisions are being questioned. Arrogancy, being conceited, or being someone who is constantly being judgmental towards what all decisions. Why you want to do that? Why are we going to do this? Constantly. I say, brother, listen, you're going to end up in an early grave. Free yourself, brother. Men have come some figure out, had somehow talked themselves into staying in a torture situation. And this was a sad thing. When speaking to this brother, I said, Gabar, the reason why I stayed with her because I tried to date other women and they worse. At least my wife cooks and cleans. She's nags me and it annoys all the time and is disrespectful and all of that, but at least she does that. And when I go out in the world, women are nagging, disrespectful, and they don't even know how to cook and clean. So it's like I got the best of the worst. I said, brother, get your passport. Get out. Remember that movie? Get out. Get out. Explore your horizon. And this is right more than ever. I'm a polygamist, but I'm promoting semen retention. This is now the time more than ever that God is testing men. Because to be honest with you, this really analyzes from a perspective of why women are so valuable to men, why men need a woman. A lot of it is sex. Men's, cycle of urges is more than women. A man sometimes gets urge every other 3 day or what have you, right? So let's just say men can master that. Let's just say tomorrow you grow up without the desire of not wanting to have sex. You know how much you could get done? You know how much you could actually accomplish if that thing is away from you? Remember what Paul was telling the Christian church? He was saying, listen, I wish all men were like me. Because Paul would not be able to do what he was able to do, set up all these churches and establish what he established if God did not remove that feeling away from him. So now it's the time for men to master that more than ever before. And I'm a polygamist. I believe there's nothing wrong with a man having multiple wives. I believe that a man, it doesn't matter how beautiful your wife may be or how desirable, eventually you want variety. You can not one woman could ever satisfy one man. But now, more than ever, if you could get one good one, stay with that, or learn how to be a spiritual monk. Learn how to semen retention. Learn how to stay focused. If people want to call in, the number is 267-358-08079. I'm getting a new phone. I know I keep saying that forever, but I also have the Zoom link in the bottom. You can come into the Zoom, or I also got the Zoom number and extension. You can come into the Zoom if you choose to call in and comment, and so forth, so on. I don't mind sisters calling in, so forth, so on, as long as you're not married. If you have a husband, any questions you may have, that should be the man you ask. This is for men only. Women should not be calling in the show disagreeing or I think you're wrong. Listen, let the woman learn in silence. And if any woman is going to call in, let her come in from a perspective of you're going to ask a question. You're not going to debate me. Okay, so we're gonna establish some order. However, though, my focus is the men, especially the young men. They haven't started life yet. They're still figuring things out. Listen to your elders. Listen to men that have done the mistakes that you are doing right now, and we have regretted it. Become world travel. Make sure you establish some form of financial understanding of how money works. Discipline your mind, your body to not be addicted to anything. You only need air, water, and food to survive. Outside of that, you don't need anything else. Learn to live with less. Learn to save your money. Get away from these hanging out in these nightclubs, spending $200, $300, $400, $500 in liquor to try to impress women. I know it because I've been there. And one thing that I am grateful to the experience that I have experienced. I was a bouncer very early on. I remember when I was like 18, I was a bouncer in a strip club. And I saw these men coming in every week, spending their money every week on these women. And I used to remember the conversation that these women used to tell each other about these guys spending this money on them and that money, and this guy, he's in love with me. He's, oh my God, he's giving me all this money. He's a fool, ha, ha, ha. He wants to leave his wife for me, so forth, so on. So I shared those experiences because it gave me a perspective from the other side. I said, you know what? This is women worship. This is when your desire is running amok. You're always going to have the desire for other women or for women. Control it. Control it. Understand that this society is against a man. Is designed, whether it happened by circumstances or by actually, there's a designer behind the scene. We can argue that. It doesn't matter. The same result is true. It is designed to keep a man distracted. Women, sports, movies. You need to have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 20-year plan, and ultimately a retirement plan. So a lot of brothers and sisters, a lot of our people sometimes focus on a day by day, tomorrow. The Illuminati, as they call them, the super wealthy, they plan 2-3 steps ahead. Generationally speaking, they're planning for their kids and their kids' kids. We have to start thinking that way because the collapse is coming. But the first thing you have to look at your inner circle. Who's around you every day? Who do you live with? Who you share your bed with? Are they with you or they're against you? Are they agreeing with your political, social, religious views, or they are constantly arguing and debating your religious, political, social views? Which one is it? You cannot change a person. It's a myth. It's a lie. People are what they are. And yes, sometimes people evolve, from the way they used to be in their 20s, because people do change. But if you once with somebody for a long time, right, and you hoping they change, well, maybe when they're 90 years old, they're going to calm down. But that time it may be too late. Especially now, you need somebody to be ready day one. A woman needs to be your support day one. She needs to come in from that perspective. And the only way for you to find that woman to be your helpmate, you should not be looking for your mama. You should be looking for your wife. A lot of brothers sometimes get caught up looking for a woman who just, understands their pain, give them a break, looking for mama. And there's nothing wrong for a man to emulate or trying to find a woman who emulates their mama if their mama was a good woman. Right? And I can understand that. But those things first have to, those type of thinking or that type of I need somebody who understands me and I could, do pillow talk and so forth, so on. Women, and this is my advice, this is what I do, this is how I did it, this is how it works for me. You should not open up too quickly or too soon, too prematurely with a woman. It should be a bit of a mystery to a woman and open up a little bit. And a woman should never really, and this is my opinion, you could take it or leave it, really know the essence of a man. You should always have some level of mystery about you. And the reason why is not because you want to be this mysterious man of mystery. No. When people get too familiar with someone, they lose respect. Right? So there has to be some boundaries there, because the bottom line is you, according to God's order, are her superior, her leader. So when there's a lead following relationship, or at least it's supposed to, if that's what you're looking for, there has to be a level of respect. A woman cannot never respect you or follow you if she doesn't respect you. That's what I meant to say. So read the book of Issachar in the 12 Patriarchs, how he worked and got himself established first and then got himself a wife. And I know, I said, well, Gabar, I'm the horniest when I was in my 20s. I couldn't help it. I get it. Get into sports. Keep yourself busy. Keep yourself, and sometimes you could find a young sister that you could grow with, if she's the right one, but not in these major cities. Sometimes you have to look and travel in areas that is not made a lot of population, a lot of experience, because you want to be the one that is more experienced than her. If you need to lead her into a path of success, you have to have more experience, more knowledge than her. So that's why there was always it was always a customary thing for a man to always marry a younger woman. My mother was 15 when she got married to my father. My father was in his late 20s, early 30s. That was normal back then. So what I'm trying to convey, my brothers, are you sleeping with the enemy? Are you sleeping with the person who's going to call the police? Are you sleeping with the person that if you call the police, she's not going to turn on you? Are you sleeping with a person that you ever maybe, that the police are going to be called at one point or the other? There was another scenario in the news. I don't remember the gentleman's name, but it was a situation that he was arguing with his wife because his wife was cheating on him or something, and he was upset. And his son, either his son or stepson, called the cops on him. Let my child call the cops and compromise me in a scenario that now I had that over my head. I told all my family, if I cannot totally rule and control my environment, I don't need to be here. Because that's my only option. That's my only power I have over you. I'm not going to beat you up. I'm not going to be punching my own walls. I'm not going to be getting drunk and all frustrated. I'm just going to say, listen, it didn't work out. I have to go. I'm that cold-blooded. And it always worked for me. People understood that. People understand that, okay, it's like this. If you establish your non-negotiables in the beginning and she leaves you, it's a win-win. Because if she leaves you, that is the evidence that the universe is telling you that's not the woman for you. But if she stays and you deal with her non-negotiable, you have to stand with your unnegotiable. Meaning, if she stays and she reneges, she's growing to a new person, she's evolving. I'm not that little naive woman. I got our own mind, yada, yada, yada. Okay, all right, boo. These were my unnegotiable. But that was 10 years ago. It's still unnegotiable 10 years later. And this is how we have to start thinking, brothers. We have to be cold-blooded. Why? Because that is our only strength, our only power, our only control of the situation. Is the only way we could remain safe. Yelling, punching walls, aggressive, all this aggressive situation. Look at, Jonathan Majors. Him being pissed at his wife coming home drunk. It's mind-boggling. For her to say, you know what, I'm going to go out with my friend and get drunk. And, she looks like she's a very, we should call these, loosey-goosey white girls, valley girls. She's just very nonchalant, everything doesn't matter. Because sometimes women don't understand how vulnerable they are. They don't really understand that. They don't understand that, the average man could rip you apart at any time. That you have scenarios that you got, women that take Uber, drivers, and drivers go and kill them and rape them. the guy down the block from you that you were so nice to you and he was a murderer. Sometimes they live in this world like la la land, like nothing really could hurt them. And then the guy who is looking at the situation said, baby, you should not do that. Oh, you're trying to control me. You're trying to tell me what to do. Oh, my God, you're so abusive. Okay, you're right. I am abusive. I need to go. Because I cannot be the one picking up the pieces. Once you put yourself in a predicament, that now I have to go, jump into my car, rush down wherever you are, because something happened. If I want to be protecting you, there has to be some level of say, okay, since you're going to be my protector, where do you feel comfortable? Since I'm not strong enough to protect myself in a hostile situation, and I don't want to put you in a situation that now, through my actions, I'm risking the possibility of putting myself in a vulnerable situation. Let's have a conversation where you're comfortable with. See, if a woman thinks that way and have a rational conversation with a husband or a boyfriend, they could work things out. But the minute women start saying you're trying to be controlling and you're trying to, why can I wear this? It's comfortable. I like these. And you start having these conversations. My friend, I know she's single and she got 3 kids by 3 different men and yada, yada, yada. But, you're trying to control me. You melt with my machismo. If you start going into that route, that's your sign to tell you that's not the woman for you. Some women want you to protect them at all costs. I have seen situations, you have women, they are with their boyfriend or they whatever, they'll argue with another man who's bigger than her own husband. And they expect for a husband to defend her after this big guy disrespected her. I've been in a situation that women are fighting with dudes and the boyfriend is trying to break, calm her down because he knows, listen, mama, you talking all this, you don't got hands like that. You're not gonna beat this guy. I have to go and then defend you if this guy slaps you or disrespects you. But women don't understand that. Some women don't understand that. Some women. Let me be fair and impartial. So brothers, the question is, are you sleeping with your enemy? Is your greatest foe is within your household? If you're constantly arguing, that's a sign for you to walk away, brother. Stop planning. Save your money. Get out. And brother, listen, learn to live without. Learn to live closest to the ground as possible. And I want to commend and appreciate, I want to show my appreciation to all the sisters that are ride or die sisters. Sisters that do understand and have common sense. And don't feel threatened by a man telling them, listen, baby, I think we should do it this way, not that way. I don't think you should wear that, baby. I don't think that looks proper. Okay, baby, no problem. And don't feel threatened and appreciate a man cares about her enough to say, baby, I think that's too revealing. Baby, I don't think you should go down that alley. Go this way. And appreciate a man looking out for her and rather than getting offended of you trying to control me. So shout out to your sister that are, a ride or die sister. And we need to start promoting that too. I think we should bring in maybe couples, right? I should maybe start having conversation with couples that have that type of relationship. Brothers that have ride or die chicks and sisters, we used to call them ride or die chicks, but ride or die wives, right? Because I think, we have to start fighting fire with fire because the algorithm is all negative. So, the illusion is that all the women are bad. No. But there's a lot there are. And it's becoming to a situation that's only a lucky few. And I believe it's a generational thing. I think it's like a thing that when you have, certain generation, like my wife and I, we grew up in the 70s. So we were born in the 70s, right? And then we grew up in the 80s and 90s. So therefore, it's one of those things that that a lot of the issues that the young people are dealing with, we don't have to deal with. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Let me show another video. I want to show you another video. You know, I may shout out to Zoom to Thailand because now what's happening, sisters are going to Thailand to argue with brothers that, you know, the passport brothers, right? So I'm probably going to do another show about that. I'll probably come back Thursday, most likely willing, if he allows me. So in closing, brothers and sisters, especially you brothers, analyze that, right? Have conversation with your wife and say, baby, listen, I need to know, are you really with me? Are you really down with me? And listen not to necessarily her words, but listen to her actions. People talk louder through their actions, much greater than through their words. Examine, test, because you may have to do a hard decision. You may have to make some decisions that, you know what, you're compromising me. You're compromising me. You have now, you know, a man is upset. He's arguing with his wife, and his kids are calling the cops. So now your kids are compromising you. I'm telling you, brothers, you have to examine your situation. And especially people of color, men of color, you know, we express ourselves with a little more passion than other people, and that gets construed as violence or potential violence. Be calm, be direct, be stoic, have self-control. Never lose control. Never lose control, ever, even when you're angry. When you're angry, stay purpose. Stay focused and be on your purpose. You know, I think 2024 is going to be an interesting year. The election is coming. There's war and rumors of war, the Israel-Palestinian conflict, the Russian and Ukraine conflict, and then we're hearing more conflict is coming down the pipe. People are saying that they're going to try to, this is what people are saying. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't got no evidence. I've seen some little evidence, but people said they stole the election in 2020. And they're going to steal it again in 2024. Right? Brothers, do not engage. It's time to get out. It's time to come together with a small group of soldiers, a small group, a band of men that look out for each other, love each other, care for each other, but more importantly, are in the same page. They have the same mission. And that mission is to protect themselves and their family and survive through all this thing. Because before things just get better, things are going to get much worse. Peace and blessing. May the Most High keep you and watch you. Shalom.